Hi guys, this is Abel from Japan, currently modeling in UK. So I am interviewing one of my friends living in UK today. Hi, how are you?
こんにちは、チミと申します。よろしくお願いします。
Hi Timmy, it's been a while. So actually, I've just taught him Japanese. Now he's like getting really fluent. He's a quick learner, right? You can tell, right? Right. So anyway, his name's Timmy, okay? And could you tell us your occupation and what do you do?
So I'm a student and I'm a model as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I mean, I already knew you're a model, but I mean, we met through the modeling anyway. But how's modeling in UK?
Modeling is interesting. It's exciting. I've gotten to travel and meet a few interesting people like you. So I appreciate the opportunities that it's provided me. So yeah, it's nice.
Thank you. I'm flattered. Right. So what's a brand you have worked with so far?
I've worked with brands like Zara. I've worked with Gucci is probably the biggest that I've worked with. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. You've heard that, right? He has worked with Gucci and Zara that I've never modeled with. So, I mean, everybody wants to model for Gucci, Zara. So he basically came true his dream, right? Yeah, I'm so proud of you. Yeah, just happy for you, right? So you're modeling and studying too. It must be really busy having balanced both of them. But how's your life so far?
Balancing modeling and being a student. It can get difficult at times, but there are a lot of times where it's quite peaceful and it's quite relaxed. Yeah. And I'm actually having quite a good time at university so far, being able to do my work and my modeling. There hasn't been many occasions where I've been struggling to balance the two. So yeah, no, it's good.
Right.
It's good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I'm just proud of you being able to both of them. So by the way, I don't think I have asked, what's your background? Have you lived in UK whole life, or you just migrated from any other country? Because I haven't asked your ethnicity background yet.
So I was born and raised in London, in England, and both of my parents are Nigerian, so my ethnic background is Nigerian.
Okay, cool. Nigerian. Well, I don't know if I have told you, but I'm Nigerian too. We share the same background. So that's why I really wanted him to be on my video because we share the similarity. So I want to know, have you ever lived in Nigeria, or well, even if you haven't, what's Nigerian culture? I'm sure you're more familiar with Nigerian culture compared to me.
So I haven't lived in Nigeria for any prolonged amounts of time. I've spent most of, if not all of my life in London. I visited once when I was very young. Don't have any negative memories, but I don't remember too much from that experience. But because I live with my mum, I'm very much surrounded by Nigerian culture in my everyday life. And my mum makes Nigerian food. I listen to Nigerian music. My mum speaks to me in Yoruba, which is one of the many languages that are spoken in Nigeria. And so, I think that Nigerian culture is filled with a lot of tradition, a lot of discipline and respect. Is a big part of it, even in things where you're in interactions such as you're greeting elders and stuff like that. And I think Nigerian culture is also evolving and adapting very quickly. There are a lot of small groups in Nigeria that are sort of taking in a lot of cultural bits and pieces from around the world and including it in Nigerian culture. And I think that's in the way that it's expanding. So yeah, I think it's quite cool. It's quite interesting, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. Well, as you say, Nigerian culture evolving like quickly, right?
Yeah.
Like, is it like happening in London too?
Yeah, I would absolutely say it's happening in London too. London seems to have quite a large Nigerian population, actually, like relatively speaking, at least, out of the migrant groups that come over. And it's there are even like artists and like scenes that revolve around this sort of new reimagined West African sort of lifestyle. And there's a lot of like international students that come to universities in London, and you can see it in the way that they live their lives and the way that they express themselves is very different from traditional sort of Nigerian culture. So it's really cool. And yeah.
Wow, that's good to know. So like, well, in terms of the Nigerian culture, now I've heard like African culture itself, in general, is getting really popular in London. How has it like changed compared to back then and now in terms of the African culture in London?
Yeah, there are many ways in which African culture is sort of expanding into British culture, in like music and in the way we speak. There's even a new recognized dialect within like London, and which is called MLE, Multicultural London English, which is a way that young people speak in London and in urban cities and like big, densely packed cities with a lot of immigrants. And it sort of changed the way that the younger generation in these cities speak English, because they're taking influences from foreign languages from the countries where people are migrating from, like Pakistan, Jamaica, Nigeria. I think that's really cool, and even over the years, the way that attitudes have changed towards being African have also changed. Even in music, as I said, like people name drop like African names and stuff like that, and you'll see like white young British artists doing that. I think that's quite interesting. But I think you can definitely say that like African culture and like foreign culture is becoming more popular as London becomes a more diverse city.
Wow, that's cool. So, which means now, more of the, let's say, like diverse culture is like brought into London, right? Like, has it affected to original like British people? In other words, white British people. How do you think it has affected for like originally from like UK?
So I definitely think that like the white population from originating from the UK, they're definitely becoming aware of how diverse London especially is becoming, and Britain slowly over time. The things that we see on TV, it's more representative of not even just like minority groups and not just like people from different countries, but people of different shapes and sizes, people of different abilities, which I think is a good and healthy thing. Of course, there's a lot of people in like the more countryside areas where they feel a bit more reactionary towards the sort of change that's going on, where they're not so pleased about the representation of people from other places. I think that sentiment still runs very deeply in Britain, but in places like London, you're less likely to come across people who are upset about more diversity. And
Okay, nice. So which means now a lot of like British people, like, well, especially in London, are accepting black culture itself, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Wow, it's nice to know. So like, since you know about the UK and Nigeria, how is it different from Nigerian culture and the British culture? Do you see like any differences, and have you found like any pro and cons between two of them?
I think some aspects of Nigerian culture that seem to differ from British culture is the way that we treat our older generations. I think that young people are a bit more respectful towards the elderly in Nigeria, and I think they're a bit less likely to rebel. But I think in London, there's like a general sentiment of freedom and freedom to express yourself, and I think the idea is growing a little bit slowly, maybe at a slower rate in Nigeria, but definitely in Britain, you'll definitely come across more people who are more self-liberating, more young people who are sort of breaking from the shackles of tradition and whatnot, gender expression, stuff like that. There are even movements for like the LGBT plus community and stuff like that in Nigeria as well, slowly coming up as well. So yeah, there are a lot of differences and similarities, but I think both of them are just slowly learning to adapt. I think London maybe faster than Nigeria, but yeah.
Okay, so now like they're more accepting other cultures except their own culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, well, I hope it's gonna happen everywhere, even in Japan. So that's what I'm looking for. That's why I'm doing this interview too. I want to bring more diversity in Japan too. I want to bring diversity everywhere anyway. So, well, going back to the question, it's a little bit complicated question. How do you embrace yourself? Like, do you feel yourself more of like Nigerian since your parents are Nigerian, or you feel like more British since you've lived in UK?
I've thought about this a lot, and I think I'd have to go with British. I feel like I resonate more with being British, but I feel like it's linked to the idea that I have, that I feel like what it means to be British is being redefined, and being British is not just being a white English person, but because of how much diversity and how much of different cultures are being injected into the country and into these cities like London, where I've been raised my whole life. I feel like what it means to be British is to be exposed to so many different cultures and to so many different people, and I feel like that's what sort of resembles my experience the most. Although I definitely do feel a connection to my Nigerian side because of how I'm surrounded by Nigerian culture through my family. I feel like this is sort of the place that made me who I am. And yeah, so yeah, I feel more British, but I feel a synthesis between the two. I feel like they combine together a little bit.
Oh, that's cool. So we are wrapping it up, but I want you to tell us what you want to convert your experiences to towards the future. We are wishing to know you have unique background. Parents are coming from Nigeria, but you are raised in UK. You embrace two different cultures, right?
Yeah. So in terms of the future, I just want to say that I want to become a more international person, a more well-versed person. I want to find out about more people's cultures, and I want to be more involved. I feel like the best way to do that would be to communicate with people. So I'm trying to learn more languages. I'm trying to find ways or find beauty in other people's cultures. And that way I feel like we could connect with each other. And I'm hoping that other people share that same sentiment as well. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. So maybe I guess I might be able to see you in Japan too, right?
Hi.
Hi. He say hi. He say mochiron, of course. So now we all know he's definitely visiting in Japan, right? please get ready for it. And let's get ready to say hi to him, okay? And he's a good model. I mean, you'll be surprised how tall he is. He's like almost like 6'3", which is quite tall in Japan. Anyway, please make sure to follow his Instagram too. And keep your eyes on his modeling works too. We'll see him in the future too. Okay. Bye bye. See you next time.
バイバイ。ありがとうございました。